8:45, this is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Danushka Madhavala, read by Soundi Thavam. The chanting of Japirita organised by the Ministry of Defence has commenced. The Consumer Affairs Authority has advised gas companies to accept partially used suspected gas cylinders from consumers. The Environmental Ministry has decided to promote cycling in the country. The second Pfizer vaccine dose was administered to children between the ages of 16 and 19 from today. Island-wide raids will be conducted to nab traders who sell cement at higher prices. The investment process related to tourism will be expedited. In world news, the US could sanction Putin personally if Russia invades, Biden says. And in sports, Marlinger named bowling strategy coach of the national team. The Consumer Affairs Authority today informed court that it has advised Litrogas and Laughs gas companies to accept partially used suspected gas cylinders returned by consumers. Senior State Counsel Manohara Jayasinghe, appearing for the CAA, made the remarks in connection with the writ petition filed challenging the gas company's decision to release unsafe gas cylinders to the market and was taken up before the Court of Appeal. Public interest litigation activist Nagananda Kodituaku filed the petition. The Court of Appeal fixed the petition for support on February 8th. The Environmental Authority has decided to promote cycling in the country. The ministry is considering to pay an additional promotional allowance to those who use cycles to come to work. There are ample benefits of cycling. Minister Mahinda Amaraveera says that a cabinet paper has also been prepared in this regard. The second Pfizer vaccine dose is administered to children between the ages of 16 and 19 from today. The State Minister of Pharmaceutical Production, Supply and Regulation, Channa Jayasumana, said, while many countries administer the second dose to this age group after 4 weeks, the Specialist Committee on Vaccinations in Sri Lanka recommended the second dose to be administered after 3 months. Meanwhile, 26,571 Pfizer booster doses have been administered yesterday. The Epidemiology Unit of the Ministry of Health said 70,003 coronavirus vaccine doses were administered at vaccination centres across the island yesterday. According to the ministry's report, 16,421,857 people have received the first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine and 13,883,801 have received the second dose. In addition, 4,925,961 have received the third booster dose. The Consumer Affairs Authority has commenced island-wide raids and investigations to locate businessmen selling cement at higher prices than the stipulated rate. Accordingly, 56 cement outlets in the Colombo, Kalutara, Gampaha, Kandy, Kurunegala, Ratnapura, Badulla, Monaragala, Anuradhapura, Galle and Hambantota districts were raided in the recent past. The Consumer Affairs Authority said, refusing to sell cement, citing a shortage while in possession of stocks, sale based on various conditions, and concealing of stocks are considered offences. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. State Minister Dr. Nalaka Godaheva says the first phase of developing 100 cities will be completed by March. Plans have been made to add another 50 cities to the programme. According to the Vistas of Prosperity Policy Statement, 4 municipal council areas and 9 national towns will also be developed. The Minister of Highways, Johnston Fernando, has instructed the Road Development Authority and the officials of the Chief Engineer's Office, Colombo, to expedite the development of the access road to the Ratmalana Airport. Minister Johnston Fernando stated that his ministry is focusing on expediting the development of all access roads to the airports, as many foreign tourists are now arriving in Sri Lanka with the reopening of the country. As the first phase, the development work on the access road to the Colombo International Airport at Ratmalana has commenced. Minister Fernando said that the development work on this road will be completed within 20 days for the benefit of domestic and foreign passengers arriving at the Ratmalana Airport for domestic flights, as well as for Air Force personnel using this route. The Indian High Commission celebrated India's 73rd Republic Day in Colombo today. It was on the 26th of January 1950 that the world's largest written constitution came into force. This momentous occasion was observed through a series of ceremonies and events organised by the High Commission throughout the day in strict compliance with COVID-19 protocol. The Consulate Generals of India in Hambantota and Jaffna and the Assistant High Commission in Kandy also observed the 73rd Republic Day of India by organising special events. That's local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The chanting of Japirit, organised by the Ministry of Defence, commenced this evening at the BMICH in Colombo. The aim of the Pirit chanting is to build a prosperous country and to invoke blessings on the people in the new year. The Japirit chanting will be broadcast over the City FM and the Sinhala commercial service of the National Radio from 6:30 p.m. today and came to you in the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Moving on to Watchlight, the Central Environmental Authority will conduct an e-waste collection program at 40 locations in the Western Province on Friday and Saturday. Environment Minister Mahinda Amarveera said 17 locations in the Colombo district, 13 locations in Gampaha and 10 in Kaluthara will be maintained. He said the decision was taken due to the significant environmental damage as well as serious impact on public health by electrical and electronic waste and came to you in Watchlight.
Coming up, World News.
Making headlines tonight, the US could sanction Putin personally if Russia invades, Biden says. Kurdish-led forces say they have retaken Syrian prison seized by the IS. And ghostly monkey and crocodile newts among new Mekong area species. US President Joe Biden says he would consider personal actions and sanctions on Vladimir Putin if Russia invades Ukraine. Mr. Biden said there would be enormous consequences for the world if Russia made a move on the nation which sits on its southwestern border. His comments came as other Western leaders repeated warnings that Russia would pay a heavy price for invasion. Russia has accused the US and others of escalating tensions over the issue and denies planning to enter Ukraine. However, Moscow has deployed an estimated 100,000 soldiers near the border. The Kremlin has said it sees the Western military alliance NATO as a security threat and is demanding legal guarantees that it will not add new members further east, including neighbouring Ukraine. But the US has said the issue at stake is Russian aggression, not NATO expansion. A Kurdish-led militia alliance says it has regained full control of a prison in the northeastern Syria seized by the Islamic State group 6 days ago. A spokesman for the US-backed Syrian Democratic Forces tweeted that all Daesh terrorists inside Hazaka's Gueran prison had surrendered. Several hundred child detainees were also trapped in the facility with them. At least 181 people have reportedly been killed in clashes since the IS tried to stage a mass breakout on Thursday. They include 124 militants and inmates and 50 police, SDF fighters and prison guards, according to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. The World Wildlife Fund WWF Conservation Group has published a list of 224 newly discovered species from the Greater Mekong region. They include a monkey with ghostly white circles around its eyes, frogs, newts, and the only known succulent bamboo species, a WWF report says. Some of the world's most endangered species in the area face extinction even before they have been identified. The Mekong region includes Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, Thailand and Vietnam. Back to the headlines of the world news. The US could sanction Putin personally if Russia invades, Biden says. Kurdish-led forces say they have retaken Syrian prison seized by the IS. And ghostly monkey and crocodile newts among new Mekong area species. That concludes this bulletin of world news.
Development News is brought to you by Let's take coal out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
The Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority has signed 8 memoranda of understanding with 8 state institutions with the aim of expediting approval process for investments related to tourism. The agreements were signed today under the patronage of Minister Prasanna Ranatunga. He said that the country received 1,006 tourism-related investments valued at over $7 billion by December last year. Only 457 investments valuing over $3 billion have been approved during that time. That came to you in Development News.
Development News was brought to you by the coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation, with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
On to sports news, former captain Lasith Malinga has been appointed as the bowling strategy coach of the national team for the upcoming tour of Australia. Sri Lanka Cricket said in a statement, Malinga, in his new short-term role as a specialist coach, will support Sri Lankan bowlers, providing tactical insight and technical expertise to help the on-field execution of strategic plans. Malinga has been appointed by the Executive Committee of Sri Lanka Cricket in consultation with the Technical Advisory Committee. SLC said the appointment is effective from the 1st to the 20th of February and came to you in sports news.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022, remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Manufacturers have seen their stocks of semiconductors plunge amid the global chip shortage, the US Department of Commerce has warned. A survey of more than 150 firms found supplies had fallen from an average of 40 days' worth in 2019 to just 5 days in late 2021. Sales of devices soared during the pandemic, leaving semiconductor makers struggling to keep up with demand. The shortage has resulted in huge disruptions for major industries. Millions of products, cars, washing machines, smartphones and more rely on these chips, also known as semiconductors. That's business news. We look at economic news next.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Economic news, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
The International Monetary Fund has urged El Salvador to reverse its decision to make Bitcoin legal tender. In September, El Salvador became the first country to allow consumers to use the cryptocurrency in all transactions alongside the US dollar. The decision led to large-scale protests over fears it would bring instability and inflation to the improvised Latin American country. Bitcoin has lost about half its value since November. The IMF had warned President Nayib Bukele of the risks the cryptocurrency poses to the country, stressing that it will be difficult to get a loan from the institution. That came to you in economic news.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
The Weather Report.
The Met Department says, except for a few showers at some places in the Sabaragama province and in the Kaluthura district, mainly fair weather will prevail over the island. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the central, Sabaragama, north central and Uva provinces and in the Gaul and Matara districts during the morning. To conclude this bulletin of news, a recap of the headlines. The chanting of Jaipirita organised by the Ministry of Defence has commenced. The Consumer Affairs Authority has advised gas companies to accept partially used suspected gas cylinders from consumers. The Environmental Ministry has decided to promote cycling in the country. The second Pfizer vaccine dose was administered to children between the ages of 16 and 19 from today. Island-wide raids will be conducted to nab traders who sell cement at higher prices. The investment process related to tourism will be expedited. The US could sanction Putin personally if Russia invades, Biden says. And Marlinger named bowling strategy coach of the national team. That concludes tonight's news broadcast.